And this way girls talk
We
too.
are live today, Morningwood Radio, 7:31 a.m. How's it going, boys?
What's up, homie?
You guys look so great over there. I'm just so proud of
Dude,
all of y'all.
Large Lumber Leroy. What's going on today, Hunter?
dude, you know that's a good nickname, Large Lumber Leroy.
I like these
Tyler,
alliteration names.
Tyler and I were having a conversation. I was telling him, I showed him my lumber garden, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, I'm just done with all the other forms of competition. I just want to get into wood chopping and
Woodshop
compete.
shape.
Yeah, get into wood chopping competitions and competing and paddling, which I'm getting fucking good at, and the wood chopping." And Tyler thought that was lame. And if you look on the internet these days, these guys are grabbing views of millions of views, chopping wood and doing crazy shit. It blows my mind. So now,
Would you say they all log their workouts like effectively?
oh yeah, it's crazy though. Like, I'm not saying necessarily do it for views, but it's just alarming that I win these like world championships and titles and pretty cool sports. And people are like, meh. And then there's a dude wearing like Carhartts with his nipples poking out, and damn, it takes off. But just wanted to prove a point to Tyler that I'm basically gonna be Instagram famous within a couple weeks.
Yeah, as long as you stick with it, man. I think
Was that another one? Was that another pun?
barking up the right tree on that one.
You son of a bitch! He's really good at that, dude. That hat is incredible.
Yeah, no, that's good, man. It's follow your dreams, and if your dreams, leave you like a lumber yard, just get after it.
Dude, that was another one you didn't even notice if it leaves you to another one, to a lumber yard.
If you're
Just to give you
turning
guys an
over a new
update,
leaf.
Tyler
Who is Tyler?
was my first friend in college. Tyler has been my longest adult friend. Like, because you have kids that you grew up with them, you've known them forever, and then all of a sudden you leave the nest.
Yeah.
Tyler has been my longest adult friend, my best friend for going on. I met him when I was 19 years old, and I'm 33, so we're about on our 15th year. And
Wow.
we're at this party, and just to let you guys know, like, I was a rabble rouser when I was younger. So I'm the latest person up at this party, and I look across the party. All the girls are gone, pretty much everyone's gone. And there's just this guy standing there, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to come back to my house and eat some Hot Pockets?"
I had the hot pockets, man.
So I go back to his house, and he makes me Hot Pockets, and I just get this really eerie feeling. Like, you guys have just seen the movie or the series Monster about Jeffrey Dahmer, and we're
Yeah.
somewhere like off of Federal Hill, which is a very Italian gangster area in
You're about to get
Providence.
chopped up.
And I was like, this
persuade
dude's
them with
about,
the hot pockets and then keep them for their body parts.
yeah, I was about to say, I was like, dude, this dude put sleeping pills in my Hot Pockets, and I'm gonna get raped. And I was in the mood, so he brought me home. And then, Rhode Island College is a smaller campus, so we saw each other a fair amount. And
This wasn't the first time that you laid eyes on this guy. Like, you saw him around walking and everything.
No, this is the first party ever. So this is the first
Oh.
time I ever met him. And from there on out, he's in the cafeteria. He's everywhere. And Tyler and I, if you've noticed, we've always dressed loud and proud, and we just have a fucking good time. So we kept on aligning with each other. And next thing you know, we're pretty much best friends. I think you even filmed me knocking out Drew Ramaki. What else have we done? Yeah, that was shortly thereafter.
It was a scary night, but you did end up going to the hospital with him, and
I take care of my friend.
Did regain consciousness, and he was being a little sassy. But
Drew Ramaki was the sassiest of all of our friends, by the way.
Oh yeah, so spicy all the time. You'd slap the coffee out of your hand just to formally shake your hand.
Yeah, he's a sassy son of a bitch of a Rhode Islander. And now, I mean, let's say also Tyler brought me into rugby, and I think I was the only person in the year calendar who got within inches of scoring a try on Salve Regina.
They were undefeated for about 3 years. They were a division ahead of us, and they offered to host. And that scenario was different, though. That was like, hey, you're my friend, Hunter, and I need body. are you willing to play a sport you've never played before? And he's just like, dude, if you need people, just give me a pair of cleats and I'm in. So I bought like 3 pairs of cleats from Dick's Sporting Goods, and we brought one of his other friends, Jesse, who did not fare as well as Hunter did. He definitely was.
Do you remember that time that fat guy hit Jesse and Jesse's soul left his body like in a movie and then came back in? There was a man who was like shaped like a refrigerator that hit Jesse that I still don't think he's recovered from.
Yeah. Jesse definitely he was under the influence of something that would make somebody, seem to be moving slower as they run directly at a person. And oh my God.
Yeah, it was
you see the whites leave their eyes and they embrace the hug that they're getting thrown.
Yeah.
So Hunter, you played rugby. Was this a one-off game that you played rugby, or were you continued rugby player?
Played like 3 or 4 games with them.
I feel like you'd be really good. What were you, the hooker?
No,
there's some interesting names in rugby.
Whenever I tell people I played rugby, they're like, "So what position?" And I was like, "I was the guy." We went that way.
Like they gave me the ball and they told me to run it real fast, and I ran it real fast, and then they didn't catch me. And then I tackled the guy, and I was like, "You're down." And then he got up, and then that was the hardest thing.
That was the hardest thing for me. I did not know how the rules worked. Now, I'm a tank, and I'm really good at objectives and very, linear progressions. Like football to me is pretty understandable. You hit the person, they stop. When they go down, they stop. Rugby to me was like calculus. There was just like 5 dimensions of the game. You could kick the ball if you wanted to. You could throw it laterally. You could be taken down, but then still be traveling forward. There was just so many things that were going on. I really had a hard time picking up the sport. And also I didn't show up for practices. I only showed up for games. So as I was learning, I was being hit. So I was all the time.
Trial by fire.
Yeah, so just because you go down doesn't mean that the play is over. It just means you're getting the ball to your buddy next to you, and they're picking up the slack and trucking forward.
Yeah. It's
for somebody coming from any type of football or wrestling background, you can imagine how after you took somebody down and no points were awarded, how there'd be a little bit of confusion.
I high-collared people all the time. That was the other thing I got in trouble for. What, are you not allowed to hit people above the nipple or something?
Yeah, pretty much. You don't. It has to be a safe tackle, and if you're fucking just out there ripping it, I mean, freaking Brackett ended up doing like a suplex his first game where he's just like anything goes, grabs the guy by the hips, throws him over the shoulder, and lucky for us, once again, Rhode Island being the small state, small school, the ref was also the coach of our team, and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna blow the whistle. Do not suplex people." During the
Yeah. Well, listen, I want to get down to the nitty gritty. I brought Tyler on here because Tyler and I have been friends for nearly 15 years. When I first met Tyler, I had actually never spent any time in the gym. I was 19 years old. I would go into the gym, and there's these steel bars and there's these plates, and everybody just kind of standing in motion, moving their arms like this, or doing the Stairmaster or squatting. Did we lose Tyler?
I think you just went the camera off.
Yeah. And I didn't get it. I was like, why don't you guys just play sports? What are you doing in here? So I had zero intention of training whatsoever. Now, when I first met Tyler, Tyler could jump squat with 315 on the bar.
Holy
You'd put
hell.
315 on the bar, he'd come down and go boom, and it'd pop up vertically. I'm not talking like he was dunking the thing, but he could do that. And I was like, what the fuck? It was crazy. And I remember the first time I ever went to do incline bench, I had 2 plates on each side. I'm talking about 1 and 1. It nearly killed me. I was the weakest person of all of our friends. I had a beer, I had kind of a pseudo beer belly.
Wow.
I just wasn't I just come out of logging. I was a larger person, and I had strength and awareness, but I was not gym strong. I just could not do shit.
I don't think people, do you have pictures at this time? Because I feel like anytime everybody looks at you, they're like, oh, I could never achieve that. He's never been fat, He doesn't know what it's like to cut weight or do that because he's always had this aesthetic body.
Well, the thing is just to make people aware, I never was fat. Like I've always looked about the same. I just didn't have like veins coming out of my arms and like definition that has been built over the past decades or plus.
This is the easier explanation. So Hunter's prior experience to the gym was known as do you remember like Zoolander?
Oh yeah.
Right. Remember those guys at the gas tank spraying each other with gasoline? They're all still pretty people. They just, if they physically had to do something, it probably was just going to be gifted towards that one facet they had trained. And there was some strong developments once he hit college, and then obviously found out I think he was actually allergic to iron based on the swelling. And, he just kind of continued down this path of, macho-ness. And I mean, the story goes on and on. I think Men's Fitness had one that was pretty interesting. Like they painted him in a specific light, but you had an idea of what Hunter's life was prior to, athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I hadn't touched anything, and I was completely against the idea of training in the gym. I thought training in the gym was for pussies. I was like, I'm just going to beat you with raw talent. I thought it was stupid. I thought I just didn't want anything to do with it. I wanted to drink beer and compete. I didn't want to do any of the things that got you better at competing. And I still love drinking beer. But it's interesting. Like Tyler was probably my first inspiration because we didn't know what we were doing. And I was getting dragged into new sports. And when you're going into new sports, you start to align yourself with the people you're playing with. And now you got Tyler, who's jump squatting 315. And I was like, oh, shit. Mike Martini was probably the only other guy that really was an inspiration to me at that point. But now come full circle. Tyler lives in South Korea, and he is a helicopter pilot. I could probably better let you explain this, but I'll give you abbreviated points, and he can give you his life details. He does the most macho thing in the entire world. He flies around, I think, $30 million fighter aircrafts, Apaches, and he's
is this the Tyler that you had the under 200-pound
that's
bet
why
with?
he's on the show, dude. The fucking bet comes up in 2 days or 3 days.
Full
all right,
fruition, bitches.
I was expecting a much larger man when you were describing Tyler the Apache pilot.
Dude, Tyler was a much larger man. They had to make custom sheets for Tyler and they also had to add extra turbines to the helicopter because they couldn't carry him.
Extra springs in the seat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's the key. I was thicker than a snicker, heavy like a Chevy. And even now, I still take out the seat, like the cushion. So I don't know, the helicopters and the fixed wing like fighter jets. I don't know if you're familiar with the restrictions of the body on these aircrafts, but you're not going to see like a lot of huge people. Like Tom Cruise is like what 5'6", right? And for me, even getting in that aircraft, right? So you're qualified, you're capable, you're intelligent enough, your ability's all there. But there are still some physical factors, which is I have to take the cushions out and I fly hard back with no cushion for 6 hours at a time, shooting guns, shooting missiles, having a great time just based on my body type, though. Comfort is no longer a thing.
What do you pee and pooping?
Peeing and pooping.
It is a good conversation to have. So what do you do? Remind me.
So as far as the weight loss right now, what's been going on?
No, I'm talking about in the helicopter, you goof.
Oh yeah, you don't poop in Gatorade bottles, but if you have to, you can.
Wow.
What it comes down to is you don't want to overhydrate before you get in. Most of the time you want to dehydrate. If you're in the front seat, which is primarily that gunner position, they're engaging the weapon systems, the cameras to fight targets, and eating prior to that, depending on the pilot that you're with or the actual threat of the scenario. For me, I don't eat that shit. That guy, the aircraft has limit of 120 degrees of bank and roll. So that's let's see if we can go right here. So this is 90, and then this is your 120. So we can fly straight, just upside down like that with a giant fan attached to us. And then if all of a sudden we go into like a pitch dive or a pitch up and then like do our little backflip in the air.
So can you fly inverted? I was
120
inverted.
degrees is our
Is the
legal
max?
limit.
Okay.
Yeah. If you guys want to, do some research on it, I'm not going to say the aircraft can do it or the aircraft cannot do it. But there are some countries where they are doing barrel rolls and backflips with the same aircraft.
I just watched Maverick on the airplane on the way over here. But by the way, before I get into the Maverick story, I use the same strategy whenever I'm doing road trips. So I had to fly back from Rhode Island to Philly to Arizona, and then drive from Arizona back to California, which was about 6 hours. I dehydrated myself all day long, and I only pissed twice in an 18-hour trip. Yeah. And I know that's not like healthy. I wouldn't suggest it, but nothing makes me crazier than having to pull off the highway and then go into these truck stop bathrooms that are just filled with the filthiest things on the planet. Just stress shits everywhere. But you're
you got to go for
this nation.
Efficiency. You're a performance-based person in life as well as in sport.
Do you, man, they got to make a movie about you guys, because there's a lot of fighter pilot movies. Why does like helicopters not get the glory? I guess Black Hawk Down had it, but it was all about you guys crashing.
Yeah. I don't know if you've watched like any film with The Rock in it, but there's like a guaranteed scenario that a helicopter is going to crash or get shot down. We're very, very efficient at that in film. We have more crashes, I think, than any plane does. And like, as far as survivability too, like ejecto-seato is not a thing in a helicopter. So fun times. But what I will say,
can you roll out the cockpit and then you got a parachute, or like, what's the story? Like if you get hit, you just go down with the ship?
Yeah, it is. It's very, very naval in that sense. But the big thing that I'd like to bring up is there is a film. It's called Firebirds with Nicolas Cage.
What?
Came out around the same time, and they have a very low grade sim that we actually still use. And throughout, he's trying to shoot targets in the simulator, and he continues to chant, "I am the greatest. I am the greatest."
Nick Cage?
Also, Nick Cage.
God, he is incredible.
Yeah, terrible film, but I'm letting you know right now, it is based on our exploits. They drive a Humvee. So like one of the hardest things in the aircraft is when we fly at night, we're only flying with one eye. And that one eye is 5 feet down, 10 feet in front of you if you're in the back seat. And you're flying like, 100 knots over trees, trying to be tactical, doing those same aerobatic maneuvers that the helicopter is capable of to stay out of like threats or to engage threats. And you're doing it with like one eyeball able to see like have you ever tried to like run with like a video camera like out in front of you and then just like looking at the camera to your right and you're running forward?
No, completely. Because all we do is just film material
in the dark
to sell our to sell our training guides and supplements and stuff. And like very often I'll be like holding the camera next to somebody, filming them and doing all this other stuff. And I hate it. So I can only imagine, because you're going at such a faster rate of speed, it's got to be stressful as all hell.
So Tyler, you're the pilot that sits in the back section, or you're the gunner that is mowing people down?
Depends on the day. I mean,
you sit in both seats. You can sit in both seats. Okay, I thought you were
Maverick.
Yeah, we have to be efficient in both seats. We're able to do the majority of the tasks from each seat. Like we can still engage missiles, gun, and rockets in the back as well as the front. The front just has like a high intensity zoom IR camera, and heat signatures get mowed down.
So
on high def.
So now that everyone has the full understanding of who we're talking to, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this bet, because
this is big.
Tyler and I have been friends for years, and Tyler was doing a weight gaining challenge on his own personal experience through his own personal experience. And when I first met Tyler, he and I were about the same size, and Tyler was pure muscle. And then Tyler decided that, you've ever seen the Fit to Fat to Fit again guy? Tyler did that to inspire and encourage. So 3 months ago, I don't know why, But Tyler was like telling me about his new plan. And I was like, Tyler, you're not going to fucking do it. I bet you $1,000 you couldn't do it. And we made this bet. And I don't have the exact details. I got to go through, but it's 200 pounds by December 1st, plus or minus 2 pounds at all times for a week straight.
So he's got to hit under 200, and then
Day one, he's got to hit 200 pounds, and then beyond
he can't
that,
fluctuate.
Okay. Yeah, plus or minus 2 pounds. Like, I mean, the minus is insignificant. If he goes underneath by 10 pounds, it's not like he's in trouble.
Yeah.
But if he goes, let's just say all of a sudden he starts at 200, and then all of a sudden, and I'm gonna FaceTime you when this happens because I want to see it. You got to get on the scale, and then tomorrow, let's say it's Tuesday, and he's at 200 again. But then on Wednesday, he's at 203. Boom, he loses.
Does he have the day? So let's say he does it in the morning. Does he have the day to bring it down?
Oh, absolutely. That is what the bet is, and that's why, to me, it was such an easy bet. But what I will say is maintaining 200 pounds for 7 days straight, plus or minus 2 pounds, because, I mean, the reality is, like, I'm not going to stop, like, eating and then come home from work because Hunter's FaceTiming me and be like, hey, Hunter, here's the scale. I know you care, and I know you're trying to catch me. It's, yeah, I mean, I'll be 200 pounds every day, like, for sure, plus or minus 2 pounds. That's a guarantee.
What were you at, 203 high today?
203 high, man. Easy day for me.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, it is fucking miserable, and I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah. And Tyler, this entire time, which I'm incredibly inspired by, has been able to he's gone to Thailand. He's gone all over South Korea. I think he even went to Japan. And he's not behaving during these times. He's actually doing the furthest thing away from good Christian boy behavior. I mean, if we could really get into the meat and potatoes, which is all classified.
Ultra Music Festival, giant camelbacks filled with vodka. Just really, really taking this challenge as hard as I can. Just proving to Hunter that I can just kind of do whatever I want with my body because I'm the king of this castle.
But, currently we have a transformation going on right now. And most of these people are not living as complicated lives as you, like getting in helicopters for long periods of time, getting sleep deprivation, traveling all over the place, going to concerts and living. And you'd be surprised. Like, I try to tell these people, you lost over 34, 35 pounds in 3 months.
Yep.
Wow.
What was your starting weight? 234, 235?
234.6 or something like that.
Yeah. And he's still
it's chat history, and I'm letting you know, like, one of the worst parts about all of the challenge is the military requirements that surprise you. So it's like last week I was told that I had to go to the field 7 days, no longer weighed out meals, no longer use of a treadmill, no longer use of any fitness equipment, and you're staying in a barracks room or you're staying in a tent. And then you're working 12 to 14-hour days. And then is boiled chicken, green beans, and MREs, which meals ready to eat aren't necessarily the best meals. So
it's insane.
It has not been an easy challenge by far, but it's just the uncontrollables that suck.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, man, I mean, weight loss.
What are you going to do with this $1,000?
I'm going back to Thailand. That place is amazing.
I support that.
Rode an elephant for $20. I got these beautiful, amazing people to where I have a series of different inflatables, right? And this amazing safari outfit, and I had a loudspeaker, and I'm a huge fan of hanging out and socializing and just being around people. And these girls did not speak English at all, but they did understand. I need you to put this T-Rex outfit on, and I'm going to play the Jurassic Park theme song as I pretend to hunt you from a bush. And,
did you pay for these interactions?
$20 is $20, man. What you do. It was amazing.
I'm spending about $1,500 a month on gas. And if I could spend $1,500 a month or just over a day in Thailand, those stories will stay with me forever. Those gas stories, not so much.
Yeah. Yeah. You spend 4 hours on the highway, or you spend like, I don't know, like I had a grade 5 Wagyu steak with like a quinoa chicken breast and a charcuterie board and 2 glasses of wine. And it cost me $35. And I was like, I'm staying
Wow.
forever. Like, this is.
What could you do with $1,500 there?
I want you to think about that for a little bit. If I just told you what $20 in a dinosaur could got.
Okay. You know what you should have done is you should have paid for like 50 people in dinosaur outfits running away from you while you were on top of the elephant. That would be a fantasy of mine.
Yeah.
And if you catch them, you get to do whatever you want with them.
Yeah. I will say the amount of
world's most dangerous game.
The new Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Were you mostly out there for love or leisure?
You know, it started with love, and then I think her name was Tanya or Tony, whatever it was. Like I was just like, hey, like I just need to know, like, were you ever a man? And she's like, no, I'm a lady. Like, okay, well that's fine, but like you said you have a 10-year-old boy and you were married to a man in the Netherlands. Now I want to have kids too, and I want to get married. Can you have my baby? And she's like, we'll adopt. And I was just like, son of a bitch. Knew it. Foiled again. But she was
now,
still great. Super friendly. Did my laundry.
Was it Tanya, Tony? Who loved you the most? Did you feel loved, or did you feel like you rented love?
It was like a fleet of women that were just so appreciative to be out with you. Because like, one, you were buying their food for like $1 to $5, and they're like, what do you want to see in Thailand? Allow us to speak the language, allow us to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Whatever you need, we got you. And
did it feel transactional, or did it feel like, hey, these people are actually pretty cool?
It was 100% like, these people are super cool and just really friendly. Like, don't get me wrong, like transactions, if you wanted to go down that road, like they were there. Like there's like a whole street dedicated to it. But if you just wanted to like hang out with like people and like similar to like you or me buying like each other lunch, like you could have like, once again, a team of people that could get you, like if you wanted a tiger to show up in your room, we met a guy and he was just like, you want cubs or you want like the full thing?
So you met the Thailand version of Tiger King?
Like this is, it's not even Tiger King. It's like Tiger Family. Like they have fleets of people that can just get you places and do things. Like a 2-hour taxi ride costs $25 USD.
Dude, it cost me $107. I flew into Newark, and it's a 25-minute cab ride from Newark Airport to my brother's apartment. It was $107. I've given up on the United States. I'm an independent. I'm a patriot, but I'm a patriot of like a decade ago. The United States that used to exist before whatever the fuck we're going through now.
So Tyler, is it family friend? Oh, go ahead.
What are we getting in the U.S., right? Because it's not the quality, it's not the like the service, it's not the like material. Because like I said, like 5-star resorts, $50, $70, and I have like room service coming to my room, charcuterie boards like literally on my table, flat screen TVs. Like I don't want to say ivory because of the elephants, but there was some very nice like equipment in like the rooms. I'm like, I don't understand. So like either we're paying for like 17 people's pockets before we're able to experience something, or like, I don't know, maybe we just need to hang out in Arkansas.
Dude, but I think the cost of freedom and the perception of freedom have definitely changed a lot.
Yeah.
In more recent years. And I know this is probably a heavy tangent, and most people, this is not a political podcast, but man, there's a reason why there's a term called an expat. Like, it's get the fuck out of this country and find something that's more aligned with that lifestyle. Jesse the Body Ventura, dude.
Where's he at these days?
He went to Mexico, dude.
Really?
Yeah, dude. And, you can look into him. People say he lost his mind and everything like that, but I'm like, really? That's Jesse the Body Ventura you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, Tyler, you're coming back here on March 9th, my birthday, which I'm very excited about. Double party. Would you say that you're extremely excited to come back to the United States, or you think you found, like, you went there for 2 years. I told you not to, but that's another story. Would you say that you're excited to come back to the United States, or you think you found another lifestyle that you might be aligned with more than what you had here?
So bittersweet, right? The biggest excitement for the United States is having a garage. Like I live on base in like senior living quarters, and it's nice and convenient, but you don't have like a workshop. You're not able to build, create, modify. And then the other thing in like the US is if you want to go grab like food, where you can go almost in any city. You know what you're searching for, what you want, and how to find it. With my 2 years in South Korea, the biggest thing that I've noticed is they do have a lot of like, similarities as far as like you can find these things, but you're trying to do it in a different language. There's definitely differences and challenges that you face. But overall, I'd say I'm super excited to come back to the US, and I'll never forget definitely like what's possible outside of it. And we'll see where it leads.
Let's just say you had that home that you wanted. Is your only gripe that you can't go to Whole Foods and get, the smoothie that you want? Or is there a difference in lifestyle? Because I'll admit, like, I went to Costa Rica in 2017, and I had this moment where I was like, oh, fuck, I think I'm living a lie. Like, yeah. I think that my perception of like America is the greatest place on earth, and you can get whatever you want and live the greatest way and the greatest people. It may have just been a narrative that I was buying into. And I've traveled the whole world, and there's a lot of really great places, but Costa Rica made me question that. Do you have, like, it sounds like you had a ton of fun in Thailand. Let's just say you had the home, the garage, the car, and everything like that, and you had
speak the language.
And you could speak the language, like, yeah, and you had the same income that you have right now. Is the United States a better world, or is the current place you're living in a better world?
Thailand is a better world. South Korea is.
No. Okay, so let's just say Thailand.
Yeah, I'd move to Thailand 100%. Same income that I have now. I would live there, and I would travel to like, I don't know, Nepal, or I would travel to like Tokyo for like any trips or vacations. But from what I saw there, as far as like food and as far as like just kindness to like strangers, you go into Walmart right now, and I'm letting you know, they're not going to be as nice to you as like the people literally that are giving you rides in tuk-tuks on the street. Like, I went out with a goal, like, all right, I need to meet somebody that's like not working at the bar, and I need to see if they're willing to give me a ride. And they have to own a scooter, just complete stranger, and they have to give me a ride like 8 miles to like my hotel. And then like I can reestablish like a different goal. I was able to do it by the second bar. They're like, yeah, sure, I got a scooter, I can give you a ride. Like, you're super friendly. Like, do you want to continue to hang out? Like, how long are you out here for? What else is new? I would love for you to try and do that in Detroit.
I know. Well, I watched a movie just recently, and I don't want to ruin. I think it was like called like 32 something. It had Mark Wahlberg in it, and it was about like counterespionage. And they went all the way through, and they were like, this guy was an agent for a secret, like some kind of like other agency outside of the United States doing secret work. And then he became a double agent and went over and started helping out the United States. But then they found out he was really a triple agent. He had been playing them the entire time. Do you think that this girl was maybe a triple agent that was like, hey, like, I'm not for pay, like, I'm just a cool person, and they were fooling you for the long play, knowing that you'll probably come back and they'll make more money off of you?
So
curveball.
Not really. That's more.
Is she a triple agent, Tyler?
slow pitch wiffle ball, right? I've been on plenty of dates in the U.S. and I'm letting you know right now, I've spent hundreds of dollars.
You can see a triple agent when they're coming, is what you're saying.
I know a triple agent, and I'm like, yeah. So like, I ask you this, right? If somebody is taking advantage of you, but you're super okay with how they're taking advantage of you, and it's really not like hurting.
Are you being taken advantage of?
You know what I mean? Like my little brother was like cheated on by like, you know, some girl, and he's like, you know, honestly, it's not really even that big of a deal for me. Like, I'm still doing whatever the hell I want. And, you know, she only bothers me like sometimes. And realistically, it's like she's a nice piece of arm candy. And I was like, Simon, but like she's playing you and she's trying to like get your money or doing this. And he's like, I'm not going to marry her.
So Tyler was really playing her. He was the triple agent.
He was the triple agent. And like, that's what
I knew it.
So it's like,
I knew that from the start.
Are you okay? And like, not even saying like they could fall in love with you. Who knows? But
I want you to know something.
$20 for a date is $20 for a date.
Dude, way, way, way more worth it than here. I cannot get away with any kind of social interaction, whether it's a date or just a friendly hangout. I mean, Starbucks coffees cost $7. Any of these kind of things. It's
just the drive. Just the drive.
It's a dirty trick. Dude, I just want you to know something. We've been doing this. We've probably done about like 8 of these, and we've never had anybody try to pitch us like porn sites. And
we
since
got
you got
porn
on
bomb.
here, we got porn bomb. So you must have brought some kind of characteristic on there.
XXX20 Fun was definitely looking for some more than what we offer here.
Are you sure it wasn't
Isabel just wrote on our thing, is there any nice guys? Isabel, I'm going to tell you something right now. When it comes to relationships, a man needs to look at things in the way of creating a lifestyle that is going to make them feel loved and supported. Women, unfortunately, and I wish it wasn't like this, but this is my stark belief system here. They look for support and shelter. It's been like that forever. It's just different layers and styles as time's gone on. The dynamic of it's changed. So you have to accept that if you don't provide for a man that makes him feel supported and safe, then he's not going to provide for you what you want, shelter and, you know, typically financial support. That's just the dynamic of the world, bro. And it's not like, oh, Hunter's a sexist piece of shit. It's just like, I bet you almost every man on this conversation would probably say the same thing.
This is the one that got me the other day. Somebody was like talking about like job pay. And I mean, now don't get me wrong. I have no idea anything other than the military. And I know anyone that does the same job as me gets paid the same amount based on like the DoD standard. But what I will say is like the top performing jobs as far as like engineering, biochemistry, MD, like moving like further with it, anyone can apply for them. But for some reason, like, and I mean, don't get me wrong, like a lot of people and a lot of female friends I have, like they all went for like nursing or education and they do very well. But when like somebody's just like, oh, sexist pigs, like you guys get paid more, I was just like, you want to know what, man? Like, go to school for engineering, get a master's, get like a doctorate in something other than like, I don't even know like what, like academia has not been paying well. Like I was a teacher for a hot minute and didn't really pay great. So if you want to get paid more, pick a job where you get paid more.
Yeah, dude, the majority of the girls that we went to college with were in school for nursing and communications. No. That was it. So you're going to go in that direction. You're going to get those kind of jobs.
A simple Google search for salary ranges for Army helicopter pilots indicates that it could range from $18,000 to $490,000 with a median salary of $89,000.
Yeah, Tyler, you're paying for dinner next time we hang out. What the fuck?
I know. It's great. Great.
You didn't tell me this bull crap.
The middle Googling. Yeah, the middle 57% make between 89 and 220.
You want to hear a funny story? So, like, there was a trifecta. There was 3 of us. I'm not going to mention this person's name, but we were a tight group. Mm-hmm. Tyler became a pilot. I became an athlete. The third person became a school teacher. He dances at GAY bars to fill the the income gap, so that there's no disparity when we go out at dinner time. We can all support each other. It's pretty gnarly. But you know what's funny? All three of us at one point in time worked at a gay bar. Our other friend has just continued to work at gay bars. I was a shop boy when I was 19. Crushed it, dude. Was a champion. One of the nation's best. Tyler moved to LA, and you danced at a bar, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. No, I was a go-go, and I was a stripper in Ventura for a hot minute. And
dude, being a stripper in Ventura is fucking dirty. Who did you dance for?
I'm just letting you know, I would pick up the biggest, largest individual that I could pick up, and I would throw him down on do push-ups without my legs. People would go crazy, and I thought I was good. That was like my first mistake, because then I met somebody that had been doing it for 7 years, and he was wearing like 3 pairs of underwear, and he took off each pair at like a different segue point, and like he broke some kid's nose with just like slamming straight into his face again and again and again. I was like, I was like, how are you this? Like, how did you know that move?
Well, dude, at that point, it becomes a job. You become an artist. I think what we were doing was we were experiential. We were just there for the moment, for the story, for the experience. And then there's people that take it professionally. Our other friend that we're talking about, dude, this dude can get on a stripper pole and literally he can hold himself out with a hand towel covering his Johnson and spin around the pole butt naked everywhere else with a hand towel and hold it all together without his hands. I get on a stripper pole and I'm fucking jacked. I can't even hold myself up for 2 seconds. Like it's
probably nail trail makes it a little slippery. I don't know.
I know, dude. I know. My ass cheek is the sweatiest part of my body, dude. I can't squeeze my cheeks around that thing. This dude has a fucking python bite on the bar with his Johnson. It's crazy.
They do have those stripper classes.
I just told you guys I'm trying to get into wood chopping and canoeing. I'm not taking stripper classes, even though like I think it's cool to have a gymnastic level of strength. But I don't know. I think we went down a tangent. This is all your fault, Isabella. But yeah,
other guys left in the world, and then what we came up with.
Down.
My friend dances at a stripper bar.
Yeah, he can that pole with his butt cheeks and spin.
So
yeah, there are good men still left in the world.
You have 3 days and you have to cover 3 pounds. Now, I know a lot of people that are probably listening to this thing probably have been sitting at the same weight, or if not gaining weight, for probably the better part of a decade or plus. Now, what were some of the biggest things that you what were some of the bigger things you did to lose weight, just so that people with excuses don't have any reason to go home and create more excuses? Maybe you can give them a beacon of light for maybe some of the transformations they want to have.
Yeah, so I have a varying schedule from anywhere from like a week. I request.
Yo, Ryan, you got to mute your mic, brother.
I thought I did. Okay, how about now?
No.
No.
It's all right.
We would
go.
Know if that's
Yeah, go for it. Sorry, Tyler.
I'd say the biggest things, like, you have to want it. Like that's plain and simple. Like everyone's gonna find a way if like you want it bad enough. Now during this time, and like I've been posting like pictures, videos, and tagging Hunter every single time I weigh myself and I drop weight. And people say like, you're an inspiration. What did you do? What was your diet? Blah 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 blah. Like there is no change in what creates results. All right. It's just, to me, it's whether or not you want it. Like, is now
giving a shit.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Like giving a shit.
I
said that over the holidays.
One part in my recipe for like meal prep and in workouts and in everything. Does it matter enough to you now? And for me, like Hunter's like my best friend. And for him to say, dude, there's no way in hell that you'll be able to drop 34. I was like, bro, I can drop weight whenever I want. I just don't have a reason. And he's just like, no way. I'll give you $1,000 if you can drop freaking 30 pounds. And I was just like, $1,000? And he's like, hold on. But you have to maintain that weight off for 7 days, plus or minus 2 pounds. I was like, yeah, no, I'm in. That's easy. I'll do it. Do it right now.
So what about after the 7 days? Doesn't matter?
No,
do you want to stay at this weight, Tyler?
No, I'm a terrible performer at 200 pounds. Like I
Do
can
you want to
run,
get
like,
heavier?
miles. Yeah, I'll probably get around like 215. 215 will be like the safe weight.
Your happy weight.
Yeah. I mean, like I can do muscle ups. I can do like 20 pull-ups in a row. I can run 6-minute miles. Like I'm performing above my normal standard, right?
You also lose that strength. Tyler can squat, I think, close to 500 pounds, deadlift over 500 pounds, bench press 3+ plates. And then as soon as you, like, there's this X marks the spot. I talk to everybody about this. Like, you can align yourself with endurance or strength, and you can have no endurance and all strength. You can have all strength, no endurance. And then you have to find this X mark the spot where you're just like, man, I'm the best version of myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, that's just it, right? So now that I'm at like this depleted weight, like for sure, my body is like, I'm not benching like 300 pounds right now. Like maybe after training it for a little bit, but my body.
Yeah, now you fucking know, dude. You make fun of me all the time. Tyler always is like, you're weak. And I'm like, no, you're just fat. You're fat. So your arms are so stumpy that it just has a recoil every time you do a rep. Your ass cheeks like are so fucking big that they have a gravitational pull that lifts the weight for itself.
Yeah. Short stuff.
I'll tell you guys something.
That's how you get over 300 pounds.
I personally am a very different style trainer. There's two different kind of trainers in the world. I used to date this very successful trainer, and she had this approach where she was the best in America, if not the world at the time, supposedly. She had this approach where she held people's hands. Mm-hmm. And she'd be like, listen, I see the strength inside of you, and like I just know your capabilities, and like we're just going to just keep on brushing away at this thing until we just find the piece of art underneath the dirt that we have on top. Like that would be 100% of her quote. She's a great girl, but like that was her approach. She would get all these people to lose weight, and then 9 times out of 10, they gained the weight back.
Yeah, they fail.
Now, I, as a trainer, tell people, I'm like, listen, like I said this over the holidays. We have this Facebook group, and you know, we tell everybody how to kind of get their shit together. Like that's a Hunter quote: "Get your shit together." I was just like, here's the reality: like the holidays are here, and you're going to be sitting at this table with all these people that do not care to see you succeed. They just want to sit there in this, like, you know, in their level of comfort, and they want to be there. And they don't want to necessarily, it's not that they don't want you, they want you to fail, but they're not going to be the person that drives you to the gym. They're not going to be the person that wakes up early and walks with you. And they're not going to be like, you know, it's very, very rare to find that kind of person. But the only difference between the person that gets it done and the person that doesn't get it done is the person that cares. Mm-hmm. And like, other than like the completely outstanding, you know, excuse that you have like a disease or like somebody else, like there's a major problem in your life, there's no reason why you can't get this shit done. It's just you don't want to get the shit done. And I told Tyler, I was like, dude, $1,000. Like to me, $1,000 doesn't really matter. But telling Tyler I told you so, fucking A, dude, that's a lifelong sentence I got in my back pocket. And Tyler gets to do it to me now if he wins the bet. And we're going to talk to each other. We call each other all the time, and we have these conversations. And having this opportunity of banter is worth more than anything. So just same exact thing for me. Like nobody's sitting there clapping their hands that I'm getting in a boat and trying to paddle for the Olympics. When I told Tyler this, he's like, what the fuck are you doing? I cannot wait to call Tyler from Paris draped in an Olympic outfit from the United States and fucking tell him I told you so. That's what I live for. Yeah. And Tyler has the same opportunity, dude. It's those fine moments in life that really define you. Like I have a bet with Kyle now because I was just like, I don't have anything to train for. Kyle and I are measuring our arms, our chest, our shoulders, our hips, and our quads. And we're going to see who can gain the most inches by February 1st. Loser has to fly to the other person's home and pay for the Super Bowl party booze.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, dude. Tyler, I got a question for you. You said you went on these 7-day stints to where you didn't have access to the gym and you had to eat the MREs, like, or maybe you did have access to the gym, but when you were secluded like that, how did you make sure you stayed on point, like with workouts?
What'd you do, baby?
So the big thing is just what can you do? Mm-hmm. It's about what you can't do. It's never about how shitty the situation is. It's like, all right, well, given all this shit, like, what can I still do, right? So we had nobody was able to fly because weather came in and like it just went to shit. And I literally like went with one of my buddies and we just hiked into the freaking woods. And I needed the heart rate up. I looked for whatever like was like the most challenging peak. Like Korea is very mountainous, and you know, if I hadn't worked out for like an hour, like total, like minimum, bare minimum, I needed an hour of an elevated heart rate, and I had like a heart rate monitor on. I'm like, you want to know what? Like, give me a weighted vest. Like, let's go out there. We'll keep freaking hiking until we either find something or we get to like the intended point of like workload. And that, and then obviously I brought like a pack of saltines with me, saltines, and
is that all you'd eat?
I would eat saltines for like the first 3 days, and I had coffee. And
that's so gangster,
dude. And like what made it worse was like my weight. Like I fluctuate a lot. Like I go up by like 5 to 10 pounds, like pretty quick. Like I say within like 2 days I can be up. But
sphincter.
What is it?
Nothing.
Anyways, so during that time, like there was no gym. In addition, like if I came out of the room that I was staying in, like we had bunk beds, we had the water turned off. It wasn't like a great scenario, but you know, it's the fucking, you're used to it. But if you left you needed to be in full like kit, which weighted vest, iPro, gloves, not PT, ACH helmet, so like bulletproof helmet, boots, full gear.
I could shoot you in this helmet and you'd be fine.
Depending on the gun size, yeah.
Sick.
But needless to say, the whole point of the thing is, all right, this sucks. You jumping jacks in like my room, or I can go out and try and like find something, hike some hillish terrain, and then towards the end of the week, we so I was like the our range safety officer. So if anything happened on the range, I'd call like ceasefires, yada yada yada. But the range tower was probably about like a mile and a half away, sloping terrain, like rolling mountains. And the last like 2 to 3 days, I just walked it with like full kit with a ruck. And by the end of that, it was like I was weighing maybe around 215. And I told Hunter, what was it, yesterday? So I had an anti-Thanksgiving where it was 3 workouts one day. 9 miles.
Fucked you up.
Oh my God. The Murph, I'll never do that. Weight loss challenge is not doing a Murph, all right? That is dumb. Gaining weight, I weighed like heavier because like once I drank water, my body needed like white blood cells and it needed to circulate hydration. And it's like, hey man, we still need to heal. But yeah, 3 workouts one day, and like every day for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday was minimum of 2 workouts for a total of 4 hours. And you know, obviously like the diet was relevant, and it's same thing going into like these next 2 days. And then the day of the challenge, like I have a day off or I might fly in the morning, and same thing, workload high, freaking like smoothie, and sacrifice what you need to, you know, show your friend, fuck you, bro. I can fucking do whatever the hell I want with my body.
The go F yourself payoff is greater than anything.
It really is. You know, like what motivates people, like Hunter and me, like both said, like we're at like a point in our careers where $1,000 is, yeah, sure, icing on the cake, but it's not what like we're doing it for. We're doing it for literally the phone conversation. Just be like, hey, does this look like my thumb or my penis next to that number of 200 pounds?
Oh, dude, I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. So, 3 months left, and we'll button it up on this. 3 months left in the Asian hemisphere. It's not hemisphere, region. What am I doing? What are your main goals here? Like, what are your 3 kind of check off the box things you're going to get done, and what are the first 3 things you're going to do when you get back to the States?
Tokyo's there, hiking Mount Fuji on like in January.
Sick.
Yeah, that'll be dope. What else? Obviously, like sushi out there, Wagyu out there. Try those things. And then as far as like here, it's, I have some like personal like and professional flight goals. And I have to take another ACFT for record. So right now my score is a 598 in the Army, which 2 points away from like being the perfect standard of a soldier as far as fitness goes. So obviously I want to beat that.
What are you lacking on?
30 seconds in the 2 mile.
Oh, dude, you just lost 30 pounds. Get it done right now.
I know, man. It's too easy.
Dude, do not boil back up to 15 pounds, dude. You should do the test right now.
I'll do it. I got to make sprints there, but from what I'm running right now, I'm doing like 6:30s for multiple miles. So no there. But
you got to break 12.
No, I have 13:40. So there's no issue.
Cakewalk.
But yeah, other than that, flight wise, I have like some numbers I'm trying to get to, and then once I get back to the States, buying a house in Nashville, seeing you for your birthday, we got to do a few things. And yeah, man, that's really it. See the family. But as far as like anything else, man, like I got everything I want. I'm doing all the things I need to do and just excited for it.
Dude, you just need to get yourself a Southern belle of a woman and you're set. I would
That's it.
kill to be forced to move to Nashville.
Just, dude, it is not just the Bachelorette, but the divorce capital of the world.
Nashville is?
Well, I think what ends up happening is divorces happen from the Bachelorette parties. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You think they go there and they're so inspired by poor behavior that they just are destined to fail?
They're like, oh my God, this is an amazing place. I love country music and military, man.
I think the main thing that I think people should do if they want to stay in relationships is delete social media. Like,
yeah.
My phone is just porn. All it is porn. And then there's people just pinging you. If you just go sit down with one of your friends, a girl. Go sit down with a girl, and if she posts any pictures of her that are not in like just like a wrapped up onesie, like all you can see is their eyes, probably have about 5 to 50 messages from dudes a day just shooting their shots. And that doesn't matter, dude. There's no ironclad mind on the planet that can last without just like slowly drifting away from your center and your like, your main goals in a relationship when you just have people chipping. So dude, if you want to save your relationship, delete the fuck out of all your social media. It's nothing other than a billboard to bring problems into your life.
All right, I'm going off Facebook, Hunter.
You should. I mean, I would create one of those like lock things. If I was not aligned with a business that is completely social media based as far as our advertising goes, man, I would delete it in a second. I would have a flip phone and I'd go to Harvard Business School, and that, like, if I really wanted to change things in my life right now, I'd invest into Harvard Business School. I'd get a social media team that would only film me with a regular camera, and I'd stay away.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of value and a lot of like volume in that statement. Like the amount of people, like, you let me know one person, or you want to know, let me know like 5 people or 2 people that you know that don't scroll and just watch other people living their lives.
Dude, I say that all the time. It's like so crazy. I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, all you do is look at other people's stuff, and then you post this fake ass picture of yourself. Like, in reality, like, I will admit, like, I spend so many hours a day on my phone, but most of it's from a research standpoint. But what happens is there's landmines of like big boobs and ass and dudes with big muscles that like you're just like get distracted and you're like, oh man, look at this chick, or look at this dude who's like bigger or fitter than me, and you just kind of like lose your train of thought. Like that, I'll admit, I align myself with. Like I can't help it. But shit, man, I lost my tangent when I was going on here. But I just say it's it's truly a negative influence on a lot of people's lives, because I don't see a lot of people living things for themselves. I think they're imagining what's better on the other side. Like there is a level of negativity. Like there's this group of people that I will not mention their names, but I would spend time with them, and all they're doing rather than achieving what they want is looking what other people are doing and then criticizing those people also. And they were part of my network for a small period of time, and it amazed me. And it just sucks. And I think a lot of it has to do with social media. So, and you know what's really shitty? People got really upset with me when I unfollowed almost everybody on my social media. And I said, you know what I do to people that I like is I call them. I don't look at pictures of them. You fucking weirdo. Tyler, I don't know what Tyler does on social media at all. I just call Tyler. I'm like, what have you been up to, you piece of shit? Yeah. And he tells me a story, and that's how I really get to know what Tyler's been up to, rather than what another person in the social media group may do is like, oh, Tyler's in a dinosaur outfit and he's jogging. I'm like, it's not a way to interact with your friends.
What's up? One of my friends talked about there's like 10% of what you see on social media is part of that person's life. And the perception that everybody has, like that telephone game that we all used to play, or we all use as an example now. My dad is like by far one of the guiltiest of this, right? He'll see a picture and it could be from like 5 years ago, and be like, holy shit, Tyler's in Boston right now. My son traveled from Korea to Boston this week, and it literally says like 5 years ago, like in the post. And he just doesn't pick up on it. And then he starts talking to people. He talks to everyone in our town, like goes to the supermarket. He's like, oh yeah, my son's in Boston, hasn't even told me. It's probably gonna surprise me. And now all of a sudden we're in this dilemma where he's like, what the hell, you're already back in Asia? And like that is a very nice and simple example, but the bigger issue is, we all look at people's lives and like we see what they want to like project and what they wish like they were feeling, and you have no idea the majority of the time about how they're doing unless you give them a call. So I think calling friends, checking in with friends, and allow time to like kind of like heal like any issues you feel like you're having with them. But that's like point blank period. Like talk to the people you care about.
Well, I got burnt out over the holidays. I'll admit that. That's probably another time for another podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna get off the phone now because it's 1:30 and I got work tomorrow. But
all right, talk man.
Later. Thanks for having me.
We'll all tune out. Tyler, you got fucking 3 days, you lazy piece of shit. Let's see what you got,
bro. What does 198 look like? Like let's find out. All right, later, guys.
Later, dude.
Bye, guys.
Ryan, I'll catch up with you, baby. Adios, peeps.
Right. Later.